We talk about volunteers. We all volunteered, right? Is anybody making any money? Raise your hand. So that's basically the activity was arranged very simply, right? It's a new technology called Facebook. We basically propose, does anybody want a free presentation, right? We come to anywhere in Canada, all over Canada, and if anybody proposes, we'll give some available dates, and if anybody's interested, we'll book a date. And that's the project basically. We're going all over Ukraine, kobzaring across Ukraine, and strange thing is that it's a very unique project, right? I don't know anybody else doing it. I'm sure there are some other, I'm sure we're not the only ones, but basically without any sponsors, right, without any money, just depending on volunteerism, being able to go, not just Canada, right? I've been to America twice. We were just in Europe 3 months ago with the whole band, and we're trying to basically study how to kobzar, to practice the kobzar tradition in the modern age, right, today. There's also a question, do we need kobzari today, right? And when I first tried this in America, I was kind of thinking, well, are people going to listen to me talk, you know, for hours and play some very strange Ukrainian instruments which nobody knows? And I thought, well, maybe not, but let's give it a try. And so it's been so successful, right? And people have been so generous. The only thing I ask of the organizers, just give me a physical place, right? You don't need to pay us any money, no honorarium, no transport, no food, no living, no nothing. We'll take all of that, care of that ourselves. The question, well, how you can do that without any money? Well, my dad lent me a car, right? Previous year, my sister's husband, Darren, lent me his car. And you get a little bit of capital, not a lot. You have to buy the plane ticket, that's the big thing. But sometimes we sleep in Hotel Toyota. It's not bad, it's not as bad as it sounds. Remember, we're from Ukraine. I've lived there for 20 years. We've lived under incredible circumstances. So coming here to America, Canada, it's like being in heaven. It's so nice, people are so cultured, because we're used to a completely different scene. So the result is, yes, it is possible to kobzar. There's classical philosophies which don't get old, and it needs to be told. And considering a lot of Ukrainians who may require something, a Ukrainian tradition, an old Ukrainian tradition, to be able to accept these philosophies, we are bringing back the kobzari. For people who are not of Ukrainian origin, right, who have no idea and genetically have never felt a kobzar, just to get to know Ukraine and Ukrainian culture through cultural diplomacy of the kobzar type. That's a new thing, right? Our president, or former President Poroshenko, he got in front of Parliament and said some excellent English. You know, did a good job. I was very happy. But what would a kobzar, what kind of effect could he have on everybody else in the world? So the project is starting in America. It's coming to Canada. We've been to Europe. We also have Asia, right? Africa, Australia. We're kobzaring the world, right? That's the next step. It's a wonderful profession. I love it. But I want to mention this. Outside, well, the part of the question is, what is a kobzar, right? Not everyone knows. A kobzar is a traditional spiritual singer. Traditionally, he would be blind. He would play on either the bandura, basically the Ukrainian lute or zither, and he would travel from place to place. He wouldn't wait for invitations. Oh, come to the festival. We'll play you an honorarium. You know, it'll be great. We'll put you on the stage. That's not the kobzar philosophy. The kobzar goes where he's not invited, right? He basically maps his own route, right, around the country, usually eastern Ukraine, but sometimes when we get to the west, or even to Russia, to Poland, maybe to Turkey, and that's the program. And it's for us to practice the kobzar. We've been studying, me and my colleagues have been studying the kobzar tradition and trying to revive it in Ukraine. But the next step, after you can actually play the instrument, after I know the language, after I can actually, play the songs, is to actually start kobzaring. That means I have to go out of my comfort zone, as they say today, go to the people and practice it. So in one aspect, I'm today presenting the kobzar tradition, but at the same time I'm giving you an example about who a modern kobzar might be. But about the kobzar technology, I could not do it here. It's not going to be so effective. It's too cold, you're too far away, I'll lose my voice, it's not going to be heard. There's no resonance in the walls. So what we'll do, we have two spaces, inside and outside. We're going to go inside, and I'll give you several examples of the kobzar tradition. Then we're going to come outside, and we're going to dance, for those who want to dance, just several dances. Because we're not presenting just the kobzar tradition. With my friend Oleg from Kiev, we present other lost traditions, such as the tradition of singing together, the tradition of dancing together, folk dances, the tradition of playing dance music, turista muzika. We're presenting a lot of traditions which Ukrainians don't know, neither in Ukraine, neither in the diaspora, because Stalin wanted to be that way. He didn't want us to know. To keep us under his control, he said, no full culture, no traditional culture. So they screwed with the culture. They made it into something very different, something modern, but still something Soviet, something not traditional, something compromised. So we're trying to convince Ukrainians to start doing these things too, right? We're trying to transfer the traditional research that we have in the practice to you here in Edmonton. So please join me inside, otherwise I lose my voice. And that's the end of the kobzar tour. Please.
Take a couple of chairs out of me as well.
What's that?
Take a couple of chairs. Yeah.